The Tianhe Corporation compound was a mountain of manufactured steel. It clawed at the smog-choked sky, a cold giant of fused stone and metal that dwarfed all who approached. Deep in its foundations, ancient runes carved by forgotten masters pulsed with a faint, resentful light. A history of power buried beneath an era of industry. A cold mist, heavy with the tang of ozone and refined ore, curled between rusted conveyor belts. The air itself hummed, a low thrum of restless spirit energy leaking from the earth. Shadows here didn't just lie still, they shifted with a slow, rhythmic pulse, as if the entire compound had a monstrous, sleeping heart. Lin Wei's eyes, cold and sharp as polished obsidian, scanned the yard. He stood like a statue, a rock against which the industrial mist broke. Beneath taut, sun-brown skin, his muscles were coiled of tempered steel. His veins pulsed, not with a flash of qi, but with the slow, powerful rhythm of refined blood essence. This was control, absolute and silent. From behind a hulking, rusted machine, a figure stepped into the weak light. He was broad, thick-necked, a physical testament to arrogance. The bully. His aura was a chaotic flicker. Black-purple veins writhed like trapped lightning beneath the skin of his arms, an unstable energy spilling from him like sparks from a badly struck flint. Corrupted vein qi. "Lin Wei," the bully sneered. His voice was the grating sound of stone grinding on rusted metal. "You really think you can stand tall here?" He took a step forward, the unstable energy around him making the air crackle. "Don't waste your breath pretending to be strong." Lin Wei's gaze remained steady, a deep and placid lake. "Strength isn't loud posturing." His words dropped low, each one heavy with an undeniable weight. "You underestimate what lies beneath the surface." The bully's smirk twisted into a scowl. He lunged, not with a technique, but a simple, brutal shove meant to dominate. Brute force against a silent target. Lin Wei's body stood firm. The bully's palm slammed against his chest with the wet smack of meat hitting an iron slab. Not an inch was given. It was a silent, immovable rebuke to naked arrogance. The bully's eyes widened in disbelief. Black-purple sparks danced wildly around his clenched fist as his vein qi leaked, a storm threatening to break from a vessel that could not contain it. In that moment, Lin Wei's tendons tightened. Beneath his skin, iron muscles coiled like the tempered steel cables of a celestial siege engine, a silent power, waiting. "Show me your true power, Wei," the bully taunted, his surprise quickly boiling into rage. "Or are you just a coward, scared to stand tall?" "My path is slow and sure," Lin Wei replied. His breath was steady, his eyes as cold and unchanging as the mountain stone. Then he moved. It was not a surge of qi, but an explosion of pure, disciplined muscle. Lightning reflexes, honed through 1,000 days of brutal training, were unleashed. His hands shot forward, a blur of motion, locking the bully's arm in a pincer-like grip. The steel vein lock. A technique that didn't fight qi, but choked it at its source. A jolt of shock, raw and painful, shot through the bully. His unstable vein qi, compressed at a critical meridian, flared chaotically. Purple flames flickered unpredictably, turning inward against himself. The bully staggered back with a guttural growl, clutching his arm. His aura crackled, but Lin Wei had absorbed the backlash like a stone wall absorbs the rain. "You hide from the Tao," the bully spat, his face burning red with frustration and pain. "Power without control is a reckless wind. I don't hide, I prepare." The alley fell silent. The only sounds were the distant clang of forges and the clatter of unseen machines. They moved again. The bully, driven by a wild fury, let his raw energy explode. Purple-black flames, jagged and corrupted, crackled around his hand as he shaped it into a twisted claw, a malformed demon's palm strike. Lin Wei stepped aside. The movement was a liquid whisper, impossibly smooth. Every muscle flexed and relaxed in perfect harmony, his bones taut like newly forged iron. "Stop hiding behind your tricks," the bully snarled, his voice a low menace. "This world's storm doesn't wait for the patient." The punch, wreathed in chaotic chi, slammed forward.
Lin Wei met the charge not with a block, but with an open palm strike to the bully's chest. A solid boom echoed through the alley, a resonant shockwave of displaced air that kicked up a cloud of soot and rust. It was the sound of pure physical force, no pretending. "Only preparation," Lin Wei finished, his words like hammered steel. Later, on a rooftop, the city smog swirled far below them. The broken neon signs of Tianhe's ruins flickered like dying embers. The unrest of the Tao was a tangible pressure here, a thickening in the spiritual air. The bully's eyes glowed with a fractured, feverish insight. "You cloak your cultivation with humility, but the storm is coming. It demands power, not acts." Lin Wei's body pulsed with contained strength. His tendons stood out like iron cables beneath his skin. In the dim light, his very bones seemed to hold a faint internal glow. "I don't pretend," he said, his voice a low growl. "False speed crumbles. Patience endures." The bully, seeing only weakness, charged again. Raw, crackling vein chi surged around his fist, a desperate all-or-nothing attack. Lin Wei stood calm, his muscles twisted, his spine aligning, his body becoming a weapon forged by a celestial blacksmith. The punch tore through the space where he had been. Only the rush of empty wind answered the bully's rage. Lin Wei's breath slowed, each exhale a wisp of steam in the cold night. His body tightened, discipline forging him into an unbreakable vessel. Night fell completely. Lin Wei was gone. He climbed to a distant mountain peak that overlooked the festering glow of Tianhe City. Here, ancient stone pillars stood like silent, forgotten sentinels, inscribed with Tao secrets no one in the city below could read. He sank into meditation. His dantian, the core of his spiritual self, opened but a sliver. A trickle of pure chi brushed through his meridians, not to be stored, but to cleanse. His focus was on the flesh. He could feel his muscles unravel and reweave themselves, each fiber knitting tighter, denser, stronger. His bones hummed with a nascent spiritual rigidity. The strength to face shattered heavens is forged within flesh and bone, Lin Wei thought, his resolve hardening into diamond. Without an unyielding body, any breakthrough is a house built on sand. A memory flashed, his mentor's voice cold as the void between stars. "Endure the pain, break the limits, respect the cycle of the Tao. Only then can you hope to stand when the heavens fall." The training began. Lin Wei crushed his fists against giant blocks of granite. Bones groaned and cracked with deafening reports, only to be healed by the slow circulation of his refined blood essence, becoming denser each time. He thrust his limbs into pits of refining flames, letting the chi fire lick at his skin, tempering his flesh like steel. Beneath his skin, his veins began to shimmer. A faint turquoise and gold light pulsed through them. The spirit veins were awakening, cleansing the last dregs of mortal corruption from his blood. The night was a silent, uncaring witness to his transformation. In this new, broken era, shortcuts bred only chaos. Pills and elixirs gave false strength. Only those who mastered both flesh and spirit, in that order, could hope to stand when the Tao itself finally broke. Lin Wei's path was clear: steel and patience, flesh and bone. The veins of conflict ran deep throughout the world, but he would not break.